So this is the 2015 Junior Cert Higher Level Paper 1 and we're looking at question number 9. Part A1, factorise x squared plus 7x minus 30. X squared plus 7x minus 30. So when we're factorising this we can see, well first of all there's nothing we can factorise out of all three terms. But then you should recognise this as a quadratic trinomial. So we know that this is going to end up in double brackets. So we want to find factors for minus 30 that add or subtract to give positive 7. So factors for minus 30 might be, well you could have minus 6 by 5, you could have 6 by minus 5. Minus 6 and 5 gives you, when you add them, gives you minus 1. And 6 and minus 5 when you add them give you 1, so that's not it, we need 7. So other factors of minus 30 might be 3 and 10, so you could have 3 by negative 10. If I add them I get 3 and negative 10 is minus 7, but I want positive 7, so it must be negative 3 and positive 10. So I know then that my answer is going to look like this. The x by the x gives me the x squared, and then if I have minus 3 here and positive 10 there, I can see that these two multiply to give 10x, these two to give negative 3x, which is my 7x, and 10 by negative 3 is minus 30. So that's my answer. Part 2 says hence or otherwise solve the equation x squared plus 7x minus 30 equals 0. Okay, well hence means using what we just discovered. So we can see here this is the same quadratic expression here, but this time it's equal to 0. So really what we're saying is that x plus 10 bracket x minus 3 is equal to 0. So if one bracket multiplied by another bracket is 0, the only way that can be true is if one of the brackets is 0. So we'll do a split screen here. Imagine the first bracket was 0. Imagine x plus 10 was equal to 0. Well, that would mean that x must be equal to negative 10. That's the only way that can be true. In other words, if you bring this positive 10 over here, it becomes a negative 10. And you have x is equal to 0 minus 10, which is just negative 10. So that's one solution to the equation. The other solution would be imagining that the x minus 3 bracket was equal to 0. So if x minus 3 is 0, the only way that's true is if x itself is equal to 3. So that's my second solution to the equation. Part B says solve the equation 2x squared minus 7x minus 10 is equal to 0. And give each answer correct to 2 decimal places. So this is another quadratic equation. Now the fact that it says to give my answer correct to 2 decimal places, that should be a clue to tell you that you would need to use the quadratic formula. So I've taken the quadratic formula here from the tables book. And the quadratic formula, this formula applies for a quadratic that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So that's what the a, b's and c's stand for. They stand for the coefficients of x squared, x, and then the constant term at the end. So what we're going to do then is we're going to look for the a value, which is the 2, and we're going to put it in everywhere we see a in the formula. Then our b value, which in our case is going to be negative 7, we're going to put that in there and there. And then finally our c value, which in our case is negative 10, that's going to be put in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to write this out then. My x values are going to be equal to minus, I'm replacing all these letters now with brackets, minus bracket, plus or minus the square root of bracket squared minus 4 times a bracket times another bracket, and then that's all over 2 times a bracket. So now I can fill these values in. So b is the first value I'm going to put in, which is negative 7. Be careful there was a negative on the outside, and then the number negative 7 in the bracket. So again, in here I'm going to put in negative 7. A value here, which is 2, and a is also down here, which is 2. And then finally my c value, which is negative 10, goes in that position. Don't forget the negative. So what I do now is I do this calculation all in my calculator, once with the positive value and once with the negative value. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with a positive value first, so just color code this view. So if I do it with a positive first, I get a value of I do this all in my calculator in one go. So you press the fraction button first in your calculator, then it's negative minus 7 plus square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 by 2 by negative 10. And that's all over twice 2. So that gives me an answer of 4.58945, and on it goes. So that's done with positive, so that's my positive answer. And then there's also the negative answer, which I'm going to do over here. So the negative answer will be the exact same as before, but you're going to change that positive sign to a negative sign. Press the SD button if it gives it to you as insert form, and I get the other answer is minus 1.08945, and on it goes. So that's my other answer then, which is my orange answer with the negative sign. So finally then, all that remains is to correct my answer to 2 decimal places, both answers. So the first answer is x is equal to, correct to 2 decimal places, I look to the third digit after the decimal. Does this 9 affect the 8? Well, yes it does, it knocks the 8 up. So that becomes 4.59. And my other value then, correct to 2 decimal places, again I look to the third digit, which again is 9, and this knocks the 8 in the front up. So it's minus 1.09 correct to 2 decimal places. So there's my 2 solutions to the equation. And that is the end of question number 9.